Aloha and welcome to MoonDaze on Monday here on New Paradigm Healing Academy with me, Queen Mabsy, also known as Michelle Jericho Poplar of Queen Mabsy LLC, here to talk to you about the astrology of this week. Well, we had two planets come into conjunction over this weekend. Friday, February 20th, you might have felt a cosmic shift. That would have been the planets Saturn and Neptune together at 0 degrees, 44 minutes of Aries. Now, if you be in Aries, or you have any planets at the later degrees, you're born in the later part of Pisces, like the last few days of Pisces, or the first few days of Aries, you might have felt it just a little bit. Let that take all of that away. Might have felt extra sleepy, had some interesting dream time. Or perhaps had some new seeding points where new things might have been beginning. 0 degrees Aries is the beginning of the tropical zodiac, as in it's the first sign. It is ruled by Mars, co-ruled by the planet Mars and Pluto. Now, presently, why am I talking so much about Aries when we're actually in Pisces season? Well, that's because that conjunction was just large and in charge. And as we go into Aries season, I want you to prepare yourself for the stellium of planets that is in Pisces presently to be moving into Aries. So we have this time that will be soon. We will see a Mercury retrograde approaching us, that we will have the opportunity to look within again when it comes to our thoughts and listen more and practice more active and reflective listening, because when Mercury goes retrograde, it's very easy for things to get misunderstood, as in you might be thinking what you're gonna say while the other person's still talking. So Mercury retrograde in Pisces will get you off into all types of parts of your imagination. So somebody might say something really cool and you might go, wow, and start thinking about a really cool idea. Meanwhile, they're still telling you what you got to do that day. And you're like, wait, what? Oh no, I was thinking about that really awesome thing. So be sure to have some patience with yourself and others as we move in through this time of shifts and changes. Because although Mercury is direct now, just wanted to give you a heads up to prepare for when that will occur. And I will give you the exact dates that is happening. So as of today, February 24th, Saturn has moved off of its exact conjunction with Neptune. Now, here in Hawaii over the weekend, when those planets had just conjoined together, an example of the power of a conjunction. Neptune Now these things, reality, Saturn, and Neptune, imagination, together, almost going like, well, is reality real or is the dream reality? Since we are multidimensional beings, existing in the third dimension as Divinity Informed, one might say that this Neptune-Saturn conjunction might have been, hi Mom, might have been a seeding point of going, hey, you know what? Maybe, just maybe, the universe imagination might be the reality first before Saturn, the structures are created. Why do I say that? Well, perhaps blueprints need to be made. First, somebody needs to get an idea of what a structure is going to look like. Then they're going to think, well, I want it to have 3 doors, and I want it to have 12 windows, and I want it to have a roof, and they have to draw it. It has to come from the imagination, and then it goes into a blueprint structure. Then there needs to be consensus. There needs to be a collective consensus on that blueprint on a job site with the workers all in agreement about what the measurements and the precise makeup of that structure is going to be, and then it is built in community together. So, is Neptune the reality and Saturn the dream? Saturn has moved ahead to 1 degree Aries as of today, exploring ahead of Neptune. It has been trailing behind, but now it's scouting ahead. Now let me just make sure, Saturn says to Neptune, that the trail ahead is clear for what the collective is dreaming up in their seeding point, 0 degrees Aries. Chiron is still in Aries as well, at 23 degrees Aries. Chiron has been sitting there in a trine to Pluto in Aquarius. This means we've been reevaluating our beliefs around what we feel and what equates to reprogramming, transforming Pluto and Aquarius, our thought patterns in the collective Aquarius. What right actions do we take to reprogram the collective thought patterns and heal those misalignments? The answer starts with us within. Jupiter retrograde in Cancer calls us to look within and check our feelings, how we feel in our body. The answers to everything come from within. A lot of the programming that we are consciously undoing is this tendency to externalize authority and not take personal responsibility for our own reality. And like we always talk about, as Isaac says, responsibility is the ability to respond. Do we have the ability to respond? Well, Jupiter in Cancer is trine Venus in Pisces. Venus represents our values. Pisces represents the collective unconscious and your subconscious and our feelings and water. Venus loves being in Pisces. You know why she loves being in Pisces? Imagine the Botticelli painting, the Venus emerging on the seashell, and she's like coming out of the water, like, oh, I'm coming out of the water, and all these cherubs and things are floating around me. That's Venus in Pisces. She's basically like surfing into the shore and just kind of like hop off her board and just be like, yay. When you think of Venus in Pisces into Aries, I always visualize her like on the surfboard, the seashell surfboard, and she goes into the beach. And then when she goes into Aries, somebody hands her a shield and like some armor, and they're like, all right, go. And she's all, oh. But right now, she's just chilling and surfing and enjoying life, hanging out with the sun and Mercury. So imagine a surf break with very studious Mercury going over the day's inventory with Venus out in the lineup, and they are communicating, but Mercury is going to go retrograde. So as of Moon Day, the moon is wrapping up its crossover of Uranus in Taurus, opposing Lilith in Sagittarius, which could have triggered some facing fears. And now that we're done with that, we're moving on. From Tuesday to Wednesday, we have Tuesday, Wednesday, the moon goes in to Gemini from Taurus. We still have a strong opposition to Lilith, still activated, which Lilith represents false evidence appearing real. In her positive note, she can represent the independent feminine energy. So the aligned yin in a positive of where they have full autonomy when she is healed. When unhealed, take those aspects away. She can trigger lessons that we need to learn to face those inner parts of ourselves that we suppressed, repressed, and denied that might come up in things that we find a little spooky. And the moon is also in a square aspect on Wednesday to Venus, our values. So your feelings on Wednesday your feelings and your values might be tested. Your values around your emotions might be tested by overthinking. So don't overthink. Remember to do the practice and feel. Moving on to Thursday, the day of thirds. The moon's still in Gemini, wrapping up its stay there, easing off towards Thursday. That fear opposition is going to poof, be gone as the moon moves away from that opposition energy to Lilith, so it won't be pulling at your unconscious as much. Then Friday, things are going to, emotionality will clear up even more. You'll be more soothed, more validated. Do your bodily work and self-care, and you will be in right relationship with your values, and your heart that looks like the moon in Cancer, the moon in the nurturing, caring side of Cancer. The moon will cross over Jupiter and you will have an expansion of your heart. So I encourage on Friday, when you do your meditation, really focus on inwardly going into your heart chamber and radiating out from that point. That would be a very powerful day to reconnect with the heart chakra. As in, the sun is in Pisces, as the sun crosses over Saturday and crosses over the north node in Pisces. So this is a day where we're really going to feel not just our own feelings. We're going to be feeling the actions of the collective. Why? Because the node of the moon, where the dragon's head is, where the darkest point of the moon, where it's orbiting around the earth and we don't see, the voice in the darkness going, follow me. 9 degrees Pisces. This is our actions around our unconscious. The north node and the sun on Friday or Saturday, so Friday into Saturday, we will be feeling more of what the collective is feeling. Because Pisces, well, it's a very empathic sign. So if you are here in New Paradigm Healing Academy Facebook group, it's very likely that you are an empath and you are one of those folks that tend to perhaps feel other people's feelings, but everybody is source. So either all is God or nothing is God, right? So again, we do the practice. Where do I get this from? Who does it belong to? How is it formed? Do I believe it 100% to be true? Journal, reevaluate. Mercury has gone retrograde because collectively we're going to be feeling the Mercury going retrograde and the sun crossing the north node. Mercury will be going retrograde right conjunct Venus, our values and what we love, at 22 degrees. 22, 2 and 2 is feeling and feeling, which equates for belonging. Where we belong. Do we belong in a collective consciousness? Do I belong having these feelings in the collective consciousness? Also, simultaneously, the planet Neptune speeds up to meet Saturn at 1 degrees Aries. 1 represents the soul center, or the heart. And what comes first? What are first steps? So, a lot of shifts happening on Saturday, February 28th. What we experienced on February 20th and prior on February 17th with the Lunar New Year occurring with a solar eclipse in Aquarius at 28 degrees Aquarius, pretty much at the end of Aquarius. That solar eclipse, Lunar New Year, Year of the Fire Horse, was also initiated with several holidays. Not only was it Lunar New Year, it was also Ramadan, and it was also Mardi Gras, and Fat Tuesday, Mardi Gras, and it was Taco Tuesday. Definitely ate tacos. So happy. So that preceded the Saturn and Neptune conjunction at 0 degrees at the 20th. And here in Hawaii, again, we had a really stormy, rainy weekend, which I was like, of course it flooded. Yes, that's Neptune conjunct Saturn. All of the structures could not hold that much water. It just wasn't possible for that much water to be contained. Now, same with the emotions of the collective to follow. There's so many emotions, it's impossible for them all to be contained. So, the most skillful thing to move forward with is to create the time and the space, the divine timing, Saturn and Neptune, to feel the feelings in order to move with the energies during the practice. Doesn't matter if you understand anything that I'm saying about astrology here, folks. It's all about the practice and the dates that I'm giving you, so you know when it's an extra practice day. So I would say Saturday would be an extra day to do the practice because of all the things that will lead up to that. There will be a hard aspect between Mars and Aquarius. Aquarius represents the people, and it will be at that 28 degrees where the Sol's eclipse was on February 17th, where we're taking right action in community. Aquarius, Mars is action, Aquarius is community, around what decisions we make about our feelings into what we manifest. And that is in a square aspect to Uranus and Taurus, which is disrupting the things that we thought were once fixed, and also could be flaring some people's tempers who are not skillful. So just know, double check your work, make sure you get approval from your bosses before you move forward on those actions, and double check your work, dot your I's, cross your T's, make sure you proofread the emails before you send them, make sure you really pause before you send that text message or leave that voicemail, because Mercury retrograde can lead to people mishearing, selectively hearing, misunderstanding. So have some grace for yourself and others, and know that that is, especially with Mercury retrograde in Pisces, in the degree of belonging, it can disrupt some communications. But that's all happening for us so that we can exercise the practice and become more active and reflective listeners. Yay! And also, it's a great time to clean out your closets and purge things that no longer serve you. Mercury retrograde is a great time to declutter and feng shui your feng shuak. So that's always a good time. This weekend would be great to start your spring cleaning early. Sunday, March 1st. There will be the moon will move into Leo, and it will be crossing over an opposition to Pluto in Aquarius. So every time we're getting the moon in Leo over the many months of this, just you're gonna have to get used to this. When the moon goes into Leo, we're gonna feel that pull, that call, that feeling to transform something. And in this case, since it's 4 degrees now in Aquarius Pluto, it's calling to transform our belonging in our manifestations. What we love to manifest might be pulled in another direction. So there's also a kite aspect on this day, which is taking off this energy, this basically this push-pull, this stretch between our transformation and our feelings and how we transform our feelings is a spine to this kite aspect in the chart, which alchemizes the Saturn and Neptune will now be in a trine aspect to Lilith, and they're basically calling us to alchemize those fear programs, false evidence appearing real, through self-love and the structures around self-love. And Aries means body, so that also looks like being that divinity informed, embodied, in order to alchemize any feelings of fear that may come up. And this is a great day, Sunday, to really anticipate the build of this over the many moons. We're going to get opportunities to really enjoy the process rather than let it totally consume us. So I'm just going to peek into this Mercury retrograde just to give you an idea of how long the Mercury retrograde is going to last. It goes to, okay, I'm going to pull up an ephemeris here. An ephemeris is a list of tables your eyes would go if you look at it. So I'm just going to look at it and tell you what's happening here. January. February starts its retrograde on the 25th of February. So mark that on your calendar. Oh no, sorry, that's the 27th. Sorry. 27th of February. Mark 27th of February for Mercury going retrograde. And then it continues its retrograde until March 21st. So there's your window of time to mark in your calendars. You know, I usually put it, like I say, Mercury retrograde, and I last it for all those dates, and that helps me out when I read a text and I'm like, what does that mean? And I'm like, okay, it's Mercury retrograde. For those of you, like myself, who have a natal Mercury retrograde in your chart, you might feel during the Mercury retrograde that you're more alert and on top of things than you are when Mercury is direct. That's because our natal placement of Mercury retrograde, that's more our vibe. And so when everyone else is experiencing the backwardsness of the Mercury and Gatorade confusion, we are like on it because that is our natural wavelength. You also might know if you are a natal Mercury retrograde. I can tell you, if you are not, most folks that I have read for who have a Mercury retrograde having neurodivergence diagnosis, as in they perceive things differently or do things backwards, which is a superpower in and of its own. So anyway, that is our MoonDaze update for this week. A little more easy than it was the previous weeks. But yeah, we're still in the paradigm shift period where the outer planets are, a lot of outer planets are still going to be moving from the high degrees into new degrees. We have at least the Saturn and Neptune cleared of the high degrees Pisces into the new degrees of Aries. And in April it will be the planet Uranus from Taurus into Gemini. So if you felt like things have been frustrating when it comes to your manifestations. Why isn't this paying off yet? Or there might be some hot tempers that you have to deal with. Well, that's just the Uranus energy, and people will be feeling that. And just know that nobody likes learning new software at work, but once everybody learns it, things will be more efficient. Of course, they're going to grumble a little bit. We always did it this way. And then they learn the new software and they're like, oh, this is so much easier. Cool. And then you might notice that might be Mercury to Gemini sort of vibes. So just imagine it like a conscious upgrade period. And then each planet is gently like ushering in the next octave. So we've moved from a lot of water energy into the fire. And that is change, my friend. And let's just continue to be the change we wish to see. Divinity Informed, here and everywhere on New Paradigm Healing Academy. Yay! Alright, so if you need an astrology reading, any insight on how these shifts are affecting you, please book a reading. I have a website. It's queenmabsy.com. I'll put it later in the comments below and in the show notes when I repost this on YouTube. Also, if you want a in-person Reiki session, I'm working out of a beautiful clinic in Aiea on the island of Oahu called Aviva Wellness and Acupuncture. Beautiful space. We also have other healers that are quite good. And then also, if you need to learn more about what we do here at New Paradigm Healing Academy, where I was trained in this healing work that I do, I highly encourage you to book a call with Candace and explore your options. She's got a great 5 keys of coaching course coming up very soon. If you're interested in up-leveling your coaching services, as I know a lot of the folks here on this Facebook group, and possibly ones also viewing this later on YouTube, might already be professional coaches. If you want to up-level your game on life coaching, look into the 5 Keys course. And I will also be posting later. I also have a video from our 222 event that we did here at Cove 2 at Catalina Beach Homes with Creativeness. She has a lovely service called Play, and she's got a great yoga class that she teaches here in community. We've been collaborating on these monthly events, just up-leveling, giving people an opportunity to come together in community. And I had a chance to play some crystal bowls, and that was beautiful, and had a really great time. So I'll be posting that on my YouTube channel as well, so you can kind of get the replay vibes on that. We were sending Reiki and quantum healing energy out to the globe, just because we felt like it, and it felt really good. Anyway, I love you all. Until next MoonDaze, now at 4 p.m. Hawaii Standard Time, because I got a gig at noon, and I also figured, Isaac and Candace do their lives at 4 p.m. So there we go, MoonDaze at 4 p.m. Hawaii Standard Time. Aloha, love you. Happy MoonDaze Monday.